on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Monday. That's right, back on the grind. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Are we still getting up and doing this every day, guys? Are we still doing this? Are we not millionaires yet? Come on, Bitcoin. So we have $9,311 for Bitcoin. We're up 0.27% from yesterday. Now, you might be saying that's not much. Well, we did have a pretty impressive run-up, and the fact that we're still holding steady, I think that's a pretty good thing. Look at that, Ethereum, totally even right now. So we are having an interesting day today. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see what is happening with crypto. A lot of people speculating we may have a potential altcoin explosion. I'm going to look at the charts. We're going to see. Maybe that could play out, right? So let's talk about that. And yeah, friendly reminder, guys, today is Monday. So at the end of this video, we're doing our Ledger Nano S giveaway. You guys know what to do. Also, timestamps below. You could skip to any part of the video if you guys want. Also, if it's your first time checking out the Crypto Zombie channel and you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We do this literally every single day. So we are having a relatively green Monday. Let's have a look. Let's give it a quick refresh live. So we have Bitcoin dominance at 57.2%, which means it's gone up. That means people are moving into Bitcoin rather than out of Bitcoin, right? So that does beg the question, well, if people are moving into Bitcoin, then what's going on with the altcoins? But I do want to show you a pretty interesting chart that the last two times we've pretty much had an accurate call on these altcoin explosions. So we're going to look into that, all right? But having a look at this, we do have Bitcoin around $9,297. And if we look at the big gainers today, we have Maximine coin up 35%. We have Grin up 22%. Chainlink another 13, almost 14%. There are some speculations around Chainlink. We're going to get into that in just a second. Monacoin, Basic Attention Token, Zilliqa, KuCoin, Cosmos, Bytem, and the list goes on. Pretty nice day for crypto today, guys. I do want to point out, though, I think there's sort of something going on with this whole, Binance letting go of US customers and FATF and what they're doing. I think some people are freaking out. So some people are saying that may have been why we saw Bitcoin, have that surge. But I also want to point out the fact that we're seeing Grin up 22%, and we're also seeing Beam up 35%. Now, these are privacy coins, right? So something to just point out, could that have something to do with the recent news that came out? I would say that it clearly has. But let's dive in. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Well, currently, we're just smashing resistance after resistance, right? We broke through the downtrend, then we broke through this resistance here. Actually, technically, the resistance was around 8,353. Then we're now trading above the $9,081 level where we peaked here. So everything's looking good. We still did not close the CME futures gap, but hey, maybe the gap won't get filled. Who knows? It might be different this time, right? History does not always necessarily repeat itself. But the one thing that I want to point out is now not only do we have this gap down here that we didn't fill, which once again, we'd have to go all the way down to $7,200. But now we also put in another one when we had this massive spike. So you can see right here around 8,000. Let me see more specifically. It's around 8,520, give or take. And you can see right now, we'd have to basically fill it from around there to 9,000. So will we have a dip down to that level? That's actually possible. I'm not going to say that's not possible. That would actually be somewhat of a healthy retracement. So we are going to keep our eyes on that. But what I do want to point out is that we have the hash rate now at an all-time high of, and you can probably see it above my head, 62.2 million terahashes. Now you can see the last time that and by the way, what does this mean if you're new? This means that there's more nodes, there's more miners, there's more people securing the network. This means the network is pretty much the safest and securest it's ever been, and we have more interest in actually helping to secure the network by mining, finding block rewards. You guys know how that goes. Well, check this out. The last time that we had this high was back on August 26th. And if we actually go back in, you can do this on CoinMarketCap, by the way. If you don't know that, you go to Tools, Historical Snapshots. You can see Bitcoin was only trading around $6,707 at that point. So the fact that we now have breached an all-time high, and we also have an annual all-time high as in this year, right? This is very, very, very bullish, guys. Very, very good for Bitcoin. You can see this was the last time right here that we had numbers similar to that. Now, the downside is that the previous support that we had in this rising wedge has now unfortunately started to become our resistance, right? So we need to get back into this area first of all, and obviously as time goes by, you could see that as we extend this out, we have to go higher and higher and higher to get to that point. So hopefully we can break into that. That would be bullish. And then, obviously we do have this This level right here, now I have it set around 9,881. It's actually a little bit higher than that. I would say it's closer to 10K. 10K is not only psychological, but we also had a lot of resistance back when we tried to originally break above 10K back in 2017. So those are definitely levels that we want to keep our eyes on. But I want to just point out the fact that we are in what I believe to be an ascending broadening wedge. Now we are getting stomped out by some of those others as well, but you do notice that if that is the case, as we had one back down here, which I don't actually have my lines on right now, but if you guys have been following the channel, you know that we had one previously, and we did have a massive breakout. So it is possible that we could come up here and touch the $10,000 level. That is very possible. At the same time, we have seen a lot of gains recently, and you may see the shorts want to go the other way. They may try to sell it back down to around 8,100, but look at this VPVR though. Right here around this, you can see it's $7,964. There is massive volume right there. So that's going to be a difficult one to break. And then obviously we do have our zone down here for the Bitcoin CME futures gap to get filled. But I do want to just pull out a little bit. Now this is the same exact chart we're looking at right here. Just zooming out a little bit more. Now you can see obviously the VPVR had the biggest amount around the $6,430 level. However, I wanted to point out right here, this was sort of the last region. It's actually, we're above it right now. And it's $9,265. And the reason for the significance of that level is, as you can see right above my head here, after that, we didn't spend a lot of time above these levels. In fact, it only took us 3 weeks to get from where we were to the all-time high. So if we were to follow the same pattern, then, I'm not saying we're going to go to 20K, but it only took us 21 days to get from where we basically are now all the way to the all-time high. So it's very possible, and if we can maintain above this short term, I would consider that to be very bullish. Now, I know everyone's asking about the altcoins. You're probably wondering, what the heck am I looking at right here? Well, this in trading view, as you can see right up here, this is called Total 2. So this is the entire crypto market cap, but excluding Bitcoin. So this is altcoins, not Bitcoins. Looks very similar to the Bitcoin chart, but it's not. Trust me. If you look at the dates are different. It looks similar, but for example, let me show you how it's different. This purple arrow right here actually represents Bitcoin's all-time high of 20K. And as you can see right here, if we go over to the Bitcoin dominance market cap, we could see right here where that is, okay? And that was obviously the 20K Bitcoin. And after that, Bitcoin started to lose its dominance. Now, right here in this blue zone, which is basically anything below 50% dominance, now keep in mind, they're saying we're at 59.94% dominance, whereas if we go back over to here to coin market cap, they're saying that we're only at 57. So we still have an issue with getting the truth out of these, different type of data aggregators. It's very difficult. We have a lot of fake volume, but I just want to take it with a grain of salt. So let's just say we're somewhere between 57 and 59%, just for argument's sake, just to make this work, okay? So basically, we need to get back down in this blue zone for altcoins to really have their rally. You can see right here, this green arrow represents the lowest percentage of Bitcoin when Bitcoin was around 34% of market dominance. And if we go back here, you can see that this green arrow represents the highest point for the altcoins, where they had a market cap of $480 billion. I believe it's $480 billion right here. And then we had a slow decline where right here around, it was sometime in the beginning of April, maybe April 3rd, April 4th, you could see we put in another low, whereas Bitcoin actually peaked at that's when it actually hit 50%. So basically, long story short, if Bitcoin dominance continues to rise and new money continues to come in, then the altcoins are not going to feel the love. But if Bitcoin dominance does start to go lower and lower, as we did start to go lower back here, and we fall below the 50%, then I would say that would be very good for altcoins. But let me just show you something, regardless of the Bitcoin dominance right here. This is the same exact thing we're looking at. I'm just zoomed into where we are now. And you can see right back here, the altcoins were starting to consolidate. And as they got closer, we had a massive breakout. And let's actually see how much that was, okay? So this breakout roughly started around May 11th. And we had a 46% altcoin boom. And that was just 4 days. 4 days, almost 5 days, 4 days and 16 hours. And we had that, okay? Then we started to consolidate again and we had another breakout. Now, this breakout was a little bit different because we actually formed a diamond pattern, which is inherently bearish. And as you know, once we got to the end, we hit the resistance and we fell down, okay? Well, we've currently been climbing and climbing and climbing again. And right now, with the exception of where we peaked right here, you could see we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can even argue 7, 8, 9 roughly times that we attempted to break through here. And just recently, we've tried to break above this $111 billion level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, guys? So it looks like we are going to potentially have another altcoin boom relatively soon. The question is, what altcoin are you going to be getting into? So this is what the chart's saying. If we don't have any type of a black swan event, then I would definitely say that we could be really seeing some love for the altcoin. So, not financial advice, but don't go selling your altcoins for a low here, okay? Because we know what happens. You sell your altcoin for a loss, and what happens? The next day it pumps 60%. Happens every time, right, guys? I mean, it almost does happen every time, right? It's like weird how unlucky it seems, right? But I want to talk about reasons why we have seen Bitcoin performing so well. I mean, last year, when we had the altcoins running up during the 2017 bull run, you could have made way more money in altcoins than you could have with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, okay, at 20x, right? It went from 1,000 to 20K. Okay, Icon had I think it was 112% increase. We talked about Neo, forget about it. Neo was like 6,000x or some craziness. I think even more than that. So what is different this time? Well, I think that it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. And, talking about right here, where it says, obviously right here, guys, Binance is unable to provide services to any U.S. person. I mean, honestly, I think that had a little bit to do. I mean, you saw Binance, BNB fell, I think it was 12% when that news came out. And where were they putting their money? Well, I think they were moving it into Bitcoin, right? The other thing that I wanted to point out is what Spencer Bogart said. Now, this is a topic that I actually didn't understand fully myself because we've been talking about Facebook coin, global coin. Is this good for crypto? How is it good for crypto? I don't understand. It's a stable coin. What's it going to do for Bitcoin? Well, check this out. He says, for better or worse, Facebook's crypto effort is among the most bullish external tailwinds for Bitcoin in 2019 and 2020. He says, does Bitcoin need this? Of course not. But at the highest level, there's two primary reasons why it is a bullish catalyst for Bitcoin. First, it potentially eases the biggest friction in acquiring digital assets like Bitcoin. Onboarding, the transition from fiat to digital assets. Once in digital assets, movement becomes relatively fluid. Now think about it. What's the most difficult part about getting into crypto? Getting into crypto, right? I mean, the most difficult part that I've ever had with anyone that's ever asked me how to buy Bitcoin, how to get in, is literally going through the KYC process, setting up a Coinbase account and acquiring your first crypto. But once you have crypto, guys, like once you actually have those tokens and you have them on your ledger or you have them on an exchange, which I hope you're not leaving a lot on exchanges, it's very easy to move the crypto around from place to place, right? So it's just that barrier to entry. So I think that is one thing that Facebook could help, according to Spencer as well, because he says Facebook making a push for digital asset adoption and creating a circular economy is great because it solves that friction point, right? Once people are holding or earning a digital asset, it's relatively trivial, to go from, like let's say USDC to Bitcoin, right? Second, he says it catalyzes the build out of infrastructure to support digital assets. For example, custody, wallets, compliance, etc., among large financial institutions and payment providers that to date have taken a wait and see approach. But Facebook getting aggressive means that they no longer have the luxury of a wait and see approach. They need to build out this infrastructure ASAP, okay? And this is the article that he actually put out here. And I highlighted a few things. You can see he says right here, as a venture firm that has been deploying capital to the crypto space for over 6 years, we see a plethora of future catalysts for crypto adoption, but we often circle back to the question, what would be the biggest catalyst? We tend to think that the biggest potential catalyst will have three primary ingredients. One is a link between crypto and where capital resides today. Two is a familiar form factor to minimize adoption friction. And three is a highly engaged international user base. So you could see right here, you have social media behemoths, as he words it, that are catalyzing the shift today. Facebook, Telegram, Kakao, Signal, just to name a few. This sets the stage for massive growth in numbers for crypto users. The exposure is massive, right? Scrolling down here, he says it's a vicious cycle. As more users on board to crypto, more developers build more incredible things to do with programmable money, which drives more users and more capital to the industry. The net result is more growth and a lot of it, and we continue the cycle. So to help put things into perspective, and this I think is a great point, it took 10 years for crypto to grow its current user base of roughly 100 million, right? Think about that, very low still. But the new projects that are currently in progress from major social media and messaging companies could introduce crypto to as many as 3 billion additional users. Now let me say that again, 100 million to 3 billion. That is an exponential increase. That's insane, guys. That is a lot. That means we are going to have massive exposure. And if you think about just a small fraction of that percentage buying Bitcoin, wow. Wow. That's going to be incredible, guys. And to think that we got all this way without the institutions so far, right? Although currently we are thinking that the institutions may be the ones behind this. Now, really quick, if you guys are still watching, I hope you guys are, there is a little bit of speculation. This is speculation. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying anything. It's speculation, okay? Take a gamble with this one. But they're saying that Facebook may potentially be using Chainlink in some capacity, as since they're using a basket of coins rather than being pegged to one fiat currency, they could need to secure a decentralized way to pull in all these prices, right? We would need that oracle. So the other interesting thing to note is that Facebook's blockchain director of engineering, Evan Cheng, is also a technical advisor to Chainlink. Okay, just thinking about that as well. So there's also a lot more down here. I'll let you guys if you want to read this, but that's just speculation, just throwing that in there for fun. But here's the other thing. So JP Morgan thinks that I know JP Morgan, right? But listen to this anyway. JP Morgan thinks that the Bitcoin industry has changed considerably since 2017, citing an increase in institutional interest. So citing JPM, Bloomberg notes that if only 5%, and this is assuming that all of this is just wash trading and everything is fake, right? Assuming that if only 5% of May's $725 billion all right, is accurate, then the true volume of Bitcoin in May was equal to about 36 billion. Sounds kind of bad on the surface. However, if we look at it on the positive side, May was the best performing month on record for Bitcoin futures as far as the CME group was concerned, with implied USD value topping 500 million. So it says the volume difference between trading on exchanges when compared to volume in Bitcoin futures suggests that institutional investors are now sincere about Bitcoin and investing in cryptocurrencies. And I also wanted to point out to what Elise Killeen said. Now, she's over from Stillmark, and she actually mentioned that pretty much she's echoing the exact same thing that everybody else is saying. In fact, I'll let her explain it to you real quick, and then we'll get back to it.
And so while we're looking ahead to the halvening event in the supply shock, we're also seeing a greater demand for Bitcoin and new on-ramps from more familiar and conventional sources. So there's an anticipation that there'll be a broader group of consumers that have access and appetite for Bitcoin.
So you can see she says that they are basically saying there's going to be a bigger appetite for Bitcoin. We talked about financial advisors advising their rich clients to buy Bitcoin, right? 44 millionaires in the world, not enough Bitcoin to go around, guys. Also, I want to talk about this that came out from, who put this out? Here we go, Grayscale. So you guys know Grayscale, right? They're the guys that are trying to buy 21% of all the Bitcoin as it comes out. Well, they released a report titled Hedging Global Liquidity Risk with Bitcoin. In it, they explain how Bitcoin is actually starting to become a hedge in this financial crisis and also in periods of geopolitical turmoil. Not saying that we're in a financial crisis, we may be heading towards one, but there are definitely countries that are dealing with it right now. So it says to back this point, they looked at the primary facets of Bitcoin's existence, which is store of value, spending viability, and growth possibility. I'm not even going to get into the store of value argument on this channel. Watch my video from yesterday. I mean, literally, if you bought Bitcoin, what is there? I think there's only maybe 6 months in Bitcoin's history out of its 10 years that if you bought, you'd be down. Any other time, if you bought Bitcoin, you'd be up. So I don't even want to hear about that store of value crap. It's a store of value, guys. Also, and if you look at here, they go in to compare Bitcoin to gold again. So obviously you could see things that gold falls short of. It's not cheap to store. It's very hard to transfer gold. Obviously you can't really, it's hard to make gold divisible unless you want to shave it off on the counter and then melt it back down at night. Not easily susceptible to counterfeiting, weightless feature. You can see right here, we've gone over this. So basically, Grayscale purports that due to having similar properties to physical cash, that Bitcoin will retain a solid value proposition. They also talk about recent adoption from things like Whole Foods, AT&T, Overstock, Microsoft, Expedia, PayPal, and Dell. Thirdly, and finally, they remark to the potential that blockchain technologies have to grow and create value, and this will only stimulate the demand further, which it looks like we are building, and this should mitigate most, if not all, negative effects of any downturn in the global market. So yeah, guys, keep your eyes on that moving forward. And you guys want to see something pretty fun? So we have Coin Market Cap. Well, somebody put this together, and it's called, this is just for fun, obviously, but it's something that is actually interesting to look at, and it's called Fiat Market Cap. So basically, it shows the top market caps of fiat, okay? But the funny thing is, instead of measuring it in dollars, they measure it in Bitcoin. Now, here's the interesting thing, and this is going to really put things into perspective. Let's just take, the U.S., for example. The U.S. currently has, 16 trillion dollars circulating in supply, right? So if we tried to cash in all of the dollars right now for Bitcoin, well, those 16 trillion dollars would buy you 1.7 billion Bitcoin. Only problem is, we don't have 1.7 billion Bitcoin. We only have 21 million Bitcoin, and 4 million of those Bitcoin are estimated to be lost forever by people who were either hacked or careless or threw out their old laptops when they were mining, right? So there's not even enough money. Like, you understand what I'm trying to say? Also, this also shows how market cap is just totally flawed because you just multiply everything by circulating supply. But I thought it was interesting down here how they just threw Bitcoin in there for fun, which, might I add, is number 35 on the list, which is pretty incredible to think that Bitcoin is outpacing this many other countries when you think about it. And when you go to 35, you notice price, circulating supply, max supply, whereas nothing else has a max supply. So I just thought this was a pretty interesting thing, pretty fun to look at. But guys, we're obviously going to $6,000 by this October because the mysterious anonymous post that this person put out, I don't know if you guys remember this, he said the bottom was December 15, 2018, just look at the charts, etc. April 2019, Bitcoin was 5,300. It was. And July 2019, Bitcoin 9,200. Well, we're not in July yet, but we've already passed it. So the question is, if this mysterious, anonymous, person is right, will we have a $16,000 Bitcoin by October 2019? I have no idea, guys. This is just he could have got lucky. No one even knows who this guy is. But it's fun to entertain these types of stories. Also, before we move on, I was thinking to myself really quick, and this is just like a side note, but I didn't know where to put it in the video. I really think education is important. And I think that when people are investing in cryptos, they don't really sometimes know what they're buying. And I think that had to do a lot with why we lost so much money last year, is people were buying a lot of altcoins. They didn't really understand the tech behind them. They just heard people promise that the price was going to go up. So I found this video. It's called Ever Wonder How Bitcoin and Other Cryptocurrencies Actually Work? I've never seen this video before, and surprisingly, it has 2.5 million views, so it looks like a pretty popular video. I had a chance to look through it. Very, very amazing, guys. I mean, if you're like, I even learned stuff from this, and I've been in this space for multiple years, right? So I'm going to drop this video below. I think you should give it a look, and if you have any friends or family or anyone that really doesn't understand how it works, it may be a little bit technical, but it's only 26 minutes, and I feel like everyone should watch this video at least once, so I'll drop it below. But moving on, I know you guys want to talk about some altcoins, right? And then get on out of here. Well, we do have this that came out. It says IOHK and government of the country of Georgia have announced a blockchain technology partnership with the signing of an MOU today. So this is pretty good for Cardano. It says together they will explore blockchain-enabled solutions for the Ministry of Education and Science using Atala and Cardano. So there you guys go. We also have an update from Unibright. They will join Synchronize Europe in London on June 18th. They're teaming up with digitalasset.com and showing how DAML, their blockchain agnostic programming language, and Unibright can work together. Now, the one interesting thing about this partnership is that it's very transparent on digital assets side. Usually you find these crypto companies and they're like, yeah, partner with this, right? And then you can't really find the partnership. But I mean, if you actually go over, you can see these guys are partners with Google Cloud. That was actually a pretty big article that came out a while ago. And look, right here, Unibright. Well, it keeps changing, but you guys see it said Unibright right there? So they're, in other words, you know, they're very open about this partnership right there, Unibright. So that's something to point out. Now, I wanted to just discuss super quick. Digital assets, some people aren't familiar with them. It says they might, and this is from Altcoin Buzz, by the way, they might be best known for their part in Hyperledger, but at the core of their offerings is DAML, which unsurprisingly is already integrated into Hyperledger Sawtooth as of April. So that's pretty incredible. So DAML is apparently an intuitive smart contract programming language used to digitize multi-party agreements and automate transactions in a precise and secure manner. DAML aims to, can I just call it like DAML? Can I say DAML instead of DAML? Aims to focus developer time on programming business processes rather than needing to deal with the innards of blockchain and encryption. And you can see right here, digital asset modeling language, okay? So it says financial institutions require finality from smart contracts. So in contrast with Ethereum, there is a slight possibility that a transaction might not complete, right? So for a bank, that would be a problem. This is one of the main benefits of DAML. And you can see right here that digital assets, they have 170 employees. And yeah, I mean, they've been around for a while here. But the one thing I really wanted to bring up was, you know, we talk about token utility. We talk about, you know, what do these tokens do? Well, Unibright has actually designed a pretty good token utility model around this, as you can see right here. So anybody that actually wants to use the token, they do have to, first of all, acquire it from an exchange, and then they do have to lock it up. And after a month, you lose those tokens. So you have an option to either buy those tokens back, right? But here's the thing. If you choose not to, those tokens do not get redistributed. They don't re-enter the exchanges, the secondary market, okay? So this definitely will, in theory, increase the value of the token over time. So I'll drop this below if you guys want to check it out, but I just wanted to bring that up. So that's pretty crazy news. And also, guys, what is this? Nuke token? Does Bomb token now have some competition? What is this all about? 2% burn rate, no minimum burn. Okay, total supply starting at 1 million, reducing every day. At the 16th decimal, Nuke stabilizes and stops burning. This means Nuke won't self-destruct like Bomb. Market cap only 1 million. We're going to have to keep our eyes on this, guys. We're going to have to keep our eyes on this. But before we go, how cute was this? This is a letter written to a father from a daughter, posted on Reddit. He can run faster than the speed of light. He can lift, that's a lot of pounds. He always says, I love you, Brooke. He's the best at picking out music. He makes the best farts, okay? He's funny when he makes weird voices. He is inspired by Bitcoin. Look at that. He is my superhero because he is awesome. Isn't that just awesome, guys? Really, really awesome. There you go. Now, before we go, we do have to give away the Ledger Nano S. So we had 7 videos last week, obviously Monday, number 1. So let's go over here, change this to 7, generate number 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have Friday's video, Bitcoin pumps. That was the video when we had the bad news about Binance and all that coming out. So pause that, copy this, go over here. Oops, wrong page. Here we go. All right, let's see what we got here, guys. We have 708 unique comments. All right, drum roll please for the Ledger Nano S. What's the big issue? Just use a VPN. Yeah, no, I agree. We definitely covered that. Azim, very awesome, buddy. So you are technically the winner for the Ledger, even though you didn't say something about the Ledger. I mean, everyone's basically eligible. So what we'll do is, Azim, you have 24 hours to get back to me. And if you decide that you don't want the Ledger, well, guess what, guys? We pick again tomorrow. So yeah, as of right now, you are the winner. So you know what to do. Either hit me up in the official